Hi there. I'm the Reverend Breen with Good God Ideas and Deep Roots Confirmation, here to share with you a creative prayer practice of praying in color using Thanksgivings as our praying in color for today. Now, in order to do praying in color, we need a few supplies. The first, of course, is to light our candle. This reminds us of the light of Christ, of God's presence with us, and that this time is a set apart, holy time for our communication with God. Then you need some blank paper that is good for drawing on. So I have a sketchbook that has blank paper on it. And then I like to use fine-tipped markers. So I have some fine-tip markers here. You could also use gel pens or just pray in black and white with a plain pen, but something where you can write words and make small drawings. So usually something fine tip would work best. Colored pencils that are well sharpened would work really well too. Once you have all of those things together, you are ready to begin. I'm going to switch my camera so that you're able to see what I am doing, and I will walk you through the process of praying in color with Thanksgiving. The first thing we always do when we are praying in color is to choose a title for God. Who are we going to call on today with our prayer? Because we're doing Thanksgivings, I've chosen Generous God, but you of course can choose whatever title it is that helps you to call on God in Thanksgiving and in prayer. The next step is to surround that name with a shape. I have kind of an amoeba-like shape that looks a little bit like those G's in Generous God. And then you choose a scribble or a doodle or something that helps you to remember that name. And as you make those little doodles, you call on God using the name that you've chosen. I did little circles here in kind of a gold color because God is so generous to me, and that makes me think of gold coins. Once you've begun your prayer by praying to God, using God's name, then you start into your Thanksgivings. I chose good weather. Now, this is different from an intercession where I'm asking for good weather. In this particular case, I am thanking God that we currently have good weather in the place in which I am located. Again, you surround it with a shape. This shape kind of reminds me of an oak leaf because it's fall, and part of the good weather is bringing all these fall leaves into beautiful color. And then you choose a doodle or a scribble or a symbol that helps to remind you of whatever it is you've chosen, and you pray as you make those symbols. My symbols look like the wind because part of the good fall weather that is happening where I'm located right now is a bunch of wind, which brings in the different weather. Once you've completed your first Thanksgiving, then you think of something else. I'm thankful for the deliciousness of fall treats, and most of those involve apples or pumpkins, so that was my symbol. And then I gave thanks to God for my friend Lauren. Again, this is different from an intercession. Lauren doesn't really need anything from God, but I am thankful for my friendship with Lauren, and that our paths are parallel at this time in our lives. My final Thanksgiving for this time of praying in color is that I am currently learning a lot of new things. And when I learn a new thing, I feel like I can check it off my list of things I've learned. So I did this petition as learning new things. Once you have done all of your Thanksgivings, and usually actually this would fill up an entire page for me, but you could start with 2, 3, or 4 things as you're just learning how to do it. The second phase of praying in color for me is then to go back to each of those petitions and add a little something. So I added those dark dots on good weather. I colored in my pumpkins with orange. I added my parallel lines to Lauren's parallel lines, and I feel like I'm learning so many new things that I doubled my check marks in a different color. For me, the second phase is really important because it helps to deepen those prayers. The first time I'm doing it, it's more off the top of my mind. And the second time, it's really sinking into those prayers and bringing God's presence to the forefront of my mind as I give thanks. Once you are completed with your thanksgivings, all the things that you have to thank God for, then we return to the name of God. And once again, I just added some detail, did a little decorating, adding color to the gold coins that I had originally started with, and used all the colors that I had done because all of these things help me to call on God as generous. The final step in praying in color is to write your Amen, to put your initials or your name and the date so you remember when it was that you prayed this. And then your praying in color Thanksgivings are complete. And that's it. You've done it. You've prayed in color through Thanksgiving. I pray that as you engage in this creative prayer practice, you may know that God's ears and heart are always open to listening to your prayers, and that you might deepen in your practice and in your faith as you seek to more usually and more creatively communicate with God through prayer.